This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Daga. This episode of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Count. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life. For more information, please visit littlemomentscount.org.
Yeah, here, us on Native Roots Radio, we're excited to be partnering with Little Moments Count, to host conversations focused on early childhood development. We'll be welcoming monthly guests to talk about how they view the role of early childhood development in creating bright futures and strong communities. Today with us, we have Doreen Lanoue. Doreen, welcome back. It's great to see you. And can you tell us, our listeners, a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm a member of the Ojibwe Mississippi Band of Minnesota Chippewa, and I've lived on or near White Earth Reservation most of my life, except for when I did leave for college. I am right now serving as an employee at All Nations Rise, and I am the FFN coordinator for an Indigenous FFN network program. And I'm a wife and a mom of 2, and I have 9 grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Hey, you're a real expert here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, can you explain to us what you do in your role in All Nations as the FFN coordinator for the Indigenous Family, Friends, and Neighbor Child Network? Could you explain that, please?
Sure. If I could first introduce who All Nations Rise is briefly.
Yeah.
All Nations Rise is a nonprofit agency, and it was started by Indigenous Visioning in 2021 to strengthen tribal communities, both rural and urban. And our mission is to support children and families through a cultural lens to create positive childhood outcomes. So that's kind of who I work for now. And my role is the FFN coordinator for the Indigenous Family, Friend, and Neighbor Childcare Network. So,
wow, that's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, I coordinate a team of A&R employees and consultants for our FFN grant, which is a statewide effort funded by the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And we provide outreach to FFNs throughout the state who are interested in taking part in networking with us and each other, receiving resources and information in many different areas, including health and safety, early childhood literacy and school readiness, social emotional learning, child development and stages, and very importantly, cultural language tools and knowledge to our FFN.
Wow. Yeah. So you're kind of explaining, can you explain what it means to be a family, friend, or neighbor caregiver? And what is the role and is important for children and communities and parents? So why is this role so important?
So as I mentioned already, FFN stands for Family, Friend, and Neighbor Childcare. And it's really aunties, grandmas, neighbors who care for children while the parents work or go to school. And generally, these caregivers care for just a small number of children in their home and are not licensed, and many of them do not require licensing or want to become licensed. They do it out of love for the children, of course, and for being a community for these children. And most times they do it free of charge. The reason it's important is because they really do it out of a sense of duty to support the family. And FFNs are extremely the bulk of childcare comes from FFNs. And so, as we know, there's a childcare there's a disadvantage with childcare. There's a shortage of childcare providers and childcare centers in Indian country, as well as all over statewide and national wide. So FFNs are the ones doing the care for the children, the majority of them. And they're really important because they share usually the same cultural and child rearing practices of the families when they're chosen. And so they have they have non-traditional hours sometimes, and they are the most affordable childcare. So that's why they are so important.
Wow, this does sound really important. So is there training? Do you train these guys, or do they come in with a lot of knowledge and background of raising kids and raising them in a traditional way?
Both. There are some that are know more than us about traditional raising of kids, and that's why this network is so important, because they can provide information to each other. We also do provide trainings. Some other services we provide is periodic learning kits in the form of boxes which arrive to their door with items that fit into those categories that I mentioned earlier about health and safety in those items. We do a 7-module online training that they can have access to, and after completing, they can receive a $1,200 mini grant, which awards them items they may need in their home to help improve the care of the children that they serve. And our primary ages are 0 to 5, but we do serve also 6 to 12.
Wow.
We do a lot of services such as socializations, meetings. We do field trips. We provide education on all of those areas, again, that I mentioned, as well as childcare licensing. And we try to meet individualized needs as much as we can.
This is amazing. How long have you been doing this, and how long has this been around?
I believe the program has been here as a state network here at All Nations Rise for 4 or 5 years. I've been here for almost 2 now.
Haley, I can't believe when I hear this. This is just amazing. And Doreen, I have grandchildren now that are 8 months old, and it's so important to let them know and be around culture, take them to places, and not only just powwows, but other things in community.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Robert, you're part of that caregiver group, really.
Yeah, Wendy and I.
I'm sure you are. Most are when they're grandparents, definitely.
We're watching them 2 days a week. So and there's 2 of them, Doreen. So I'm tired, and Wendy's really tired. My wife when they leave.
That's why support groups like this are so important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hey, we want to take a quick break, and we're here with Doreen Lanoue with All Nations Rise, Family Friend and Neighbor Coordinator, FFN Coordinator. Some really great information as always. So hold on, and we got some more questions and some more information to give out. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Governor Walls. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This episode of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Count. Nearly 80% of brain growth happens in that first 1,000 days of life, and small moments of interaction like talking, playing, reading, and singing help create the pathways that build a child's brain during these early stages of life. For more information, you can visit littlemomentscount.org.
I really love singing to our grandbabies and making special noises to make them smile. Hey, we're here with Doreen Lanoue with All Nations Rise, family, friend, and neighbor coordinator, FFN coordinator. Great to see you. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful information that you have. And one of the things I'd like to ask you is, what are some of the ways FFN can incorporate singing, playing, and reading with young children, making it fun for both the children and the caregivers? What are some of the ways?
So we, singing, playing, and reading, we all know offers numerous benefits for young children. It supports their overall development in a fun and engaging way. If we can teach FFNs how to do that, or the tools and resources they need to be able to do more organizational, scheduled things throughout the day with their children, they'll definitely learn more by playing and singing and reading and be ready for school much sooner than some other kids who don't have those activities. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's so important to connect those brain muscles in that coordination of singing and hearing stories and just the inflection of your voice.
Yeah. Yeah. When they do that, they enhance problem-solving skills. That helps their social skills. It helps motor skills, all kinds of things to prepare for school.
Well, how does the FFN program address the cultural needs of these Indigenous children and families?
So we do provide services, as I mentioned, those boxes, and the boxes that we send to their door that are free do include cultural kits, cultural items, games, toys, books. For example, through Nashki Games, which many people know is an award-winning company that specializes in Anishinaabe cultural language-based games. And we have been able to purchase box sets to give out to every one of our Ojibwe FFN and those who have Ojibwe children in their care. So that's been a wonderful resource we were able to give. And we plan to continue researching and finding new items all the time to send to our FFNs as cultural and language needs. And that helps regenerate the language in a small way, but in a very good way.
Yeah, we've talked about boxes. I don't know if they're the similar boxes or the same boxes, but wow, I think everybody in the tribe could use one of those boxes.
Right.
Really. I know I could. I need an adult one sent to my house, Haley.
I know, all ages, really.
Exactly. But that's beautiful. And I can feel the positivity come through to the internet here, that it really is a really great thing for these people to get, like almost like a present when they get these boxes from you, and it has all these goodies in there that gets you excited and gets you to be able to guide these learners and young ones in a good way. Can you discuss the process of becoming legally non-licensed or licensed for FFN as a caregiver, and why is this important?
I can do it really quickly. The difference between non-licensed and legally non-licensed is the fact that they will have to do a background check. Everyone over the age of 16 has to do a background check in their home, and they also have training requirements. And once you are legally non-licensed, you can receive childcare assistance program payments. So this is helpful to a family if they can't afford childcare to be able to get an FFN ready to do that. So we assist our FFNs with becoming legally non-licensed or licensed if they choose to, but that's their choice. And we help them in the process and advocate for them in that process.
Wow, that's really cool. Were you going to say something, Haley?
Oh, I was just going to say that's awesome. And thanks for helping them with that process and leaving it up to them to make that decision is really cool too.
Yeah, definitely. So there's, can you discuss the program and how other FFNs connect and network with one another? And we know it's really important, but could you even amplify on how important that is?
Sure. Then, again, we provide in-person and online socializations and networking events. We offer trainings in those networking events and craft projects and, like I said, field trips. And we encourage participation in all these activities because it's valuable, so they're not alone and they can get support from each other and help they need on day-to-day issues, both from such as issues with child behavior, for example, that they might be experiencing. They can help each other with those things and give suggestions, and they can connect, share experiences, and access support from us as well.
That's amazing, and that's important no matter what you're doing, to have that support and people going through the same thing that you are. And you just need that support sometimes, and you got to make sure that you're not on an island and that you're doing things good. And 9 times out of 10, you are trusting your gut and you are doing good things, following this and following your instincts and stuff. But you need that sometimes to verify that you are doing it in a good way.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks, Haley.
Welcome. Well, I was just thinking too, like even coordinating with other families or other caregivers going through the program, and not only benefits the adults, but also connecting with those families. You could, if they have kids the same age, you could introduce them to each other and, just build connections that way with Indigenous families and people who have the same culture as you. I think that's a cool way to build friendships as well.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So I guess what I would like to end this with here is to find out how people are considering maybe becoming a FFN caregiver. How can they get involved with All Nations Rise, and how can is there a website? How can we reach out? Our listeners reach out and either support this or become a FFN person.
We do have a website to get involved. You can go to allnationsrise.com and then go to the FFN page. You'll see a link to that, and then they can select register for the FFN network, or they can call me. My number's on the website, or other staff to help them in completing the registration. It is an online survey which asks them their contact information, their tribal affiliation or that of the children, what hours they provide care, how long they've been providing care as an FFN, what resources are important to them that we may offer or maybe that we don't offer. And then their best way to contact them is in the survey as well, if they want to be contacted by phone or email or a text. And then once they become a member of the network by completing that survey, we will let them know what their next steps are. They are automatically eligible for those learning kits and all of the information on the website. We do list resources that we've used or given out in the past so that they can see what we've done and what information might help them right away. And then we request that they complete that online 7-module training, which includes all of those areas that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, and a cultural module as well. And then once they complete that training, which is not real long, they can qualify to apply for that $1,200 mini grant that I described.
Yes. So that's open anytime. There's no set dates. If somebody's interested now, they can jump on and start that process right away.
Yes. There's no, it's an ongoing application mini grant. There's no deadline date. It goes throughout the year, just as funding allows. But we have plenty of funding right now. So we are out doing outreach constantly for more FFN providers to become members.
Wow. We're here with Doreen Lanoue with All Nations Rise family, friend, and neighbor coordinator, FFN coordinator. And again, allnationsrise.com for more information. I just want to say you are doing such good work for our community to keep it stronger, to also keep who we are alive. And that's what we talk about here. And it's so important, and your work's so important. And I just want to say a really big Pinigigi for coming on and doing all this great work.
Thank you so much. I enjoy it very much.
Right on. Well, we'll have to get you on again. And we love those boxes. We need a ho-chunk box sent to us somehow. Oh.
Say hi to Barb and Beth Ann for us. Thanks, Doreen.
I will. Thank you.
Right on. Great job. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and up next, Arvina Martin, and we'll be talking about what's going on politically across the globe. This is Native Roots Radio. This is Native Roots Radio. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.